You're standing in a supermarket, holding a product you've probably bought 100 times before. Same brand, same packaging, same trust. But here's the part no one tells you. That exact same product, in another part of the world, wouldn't even be allowed on the shelf. Not restricted, not modified, completely rejected. And once you realize that, the question changes instantly. It's no longer, is this food safe? It becomes, who decided it was safe here? Because this isn't just a story about food. It's a story about systems, and how two powerful systems looked at the same problem and came to completely different conclusions. And the difference between those decisions is sitting quietly on your plate, every single day, without you ever noticing it. Most people think the difference between American and European food is about ingredients, but that's only the surface. The real difference is much deeper. It's philosophical. It's structural. It's about how risk is understood, how decisions are made, and how responsibility is distributed between corporations and regulators. In one system, speed, innovation, and efficiency are prioritized. In the other, uncertainty itself is treated as a reason to slow down. And that single difference quietly shapes everything you consume. In the United States, the system operates on what you could call a prove-it-later model. A product is considered acceptable until it is proven harmful. Not suspected, not questioned, proven. Which sounds logical at first, because it allows innovation to move quickly. But there's something hidden inside that logic. Proof takes time. Scientific certainty doesn't appear overnight. It takes years of studies, repeated testing, long-term observation, and sometimes even decades of data before something is officially labeled harmful. And during all that time, the product remains available. People consume it daily, build habits around it, and integrate it into their lives without ever realizing they are part of a long-term experiment. Now compare that to Europe, where the logic flips entirely. Instead of waiting for proof of harm, the system asks for proof of safety. If there is uncertainty, even a small one, approval becomes difficult. Not because something is confirmed dangerous, but because it hasn't been proven safe enough. This is known as the precautionary approach. And while it slows down innovation, it shifts the burden away from consumers and places it on producers. The result is not necessarily perfectly safe food, but a system that is more cautious about what it allows in the first place. And this is where the story becomes uncomfortable. Because companies don't operate based on what is morally right or wrong. They operate based on what is permitted. If one system allows faster approvals, lower testing requirements, and fewer restrictions, companies will optimize for that environment. Costs go down, production speeds up, and profits increase. If another system demands stricter validation, more transparency, and higher compliance costs, companies adjust again. Same brand, different formula, different standard. And the average consumer rarely notices the difference, because everything still looks familiar on the surface. But here's the part that should really make you pause. If companies can produce a cleaner, more regulated version of the same product for one region, that means the capability already exists. The knowledge is there. The supply chains are already built. The alternatives are already known. So the question is no longer whether it's possible. The real question is why it isn't the default everywhere. And the answer lies in incentives. In modern markets, every decision is driven by trade-offs. Higher quality often means higher costs. Higher costs reduce margins. Lower margins create pressure from investors, competitors, and growth expectations. So companies don't aim for the highest possible standard. They aim for the highest standard required to stay competitive within a specific system. And that line is not drawn by ethics. It's drawn by regulation. But the system doesn't just operate at the corporate level. It operates inside the minds of consumers as well. Because most people don't choose food based on scientific understanding. They choose based on habit, familiarity, routine. If a product is on the shelf, it must have passed some kind of check. If it's been around for years, it must be safe. If everyone else is buying it, there's no reason to question it. That's how trust forms, slowly, quietly, and almost invisibly. And once something becomes normal, it stops being examined. It becomes part of the background. You don't think about it, you don't question it, you simply accept it. But behind that sense of normality, decisions are constantly being made. what gets approved, what gets delayed, what gets labeled, what gets ignored. And those decisions are not purely scientific. They are shaped by economics, political priorities, industry influence, and resource limitations. Because here's another layer most people never see. Regulators don't operate in a vacuum. They have limited budgets, limited manpower, and increasing pressure to keep markets moving efficiently. Reviewing every single ingredient, every single formulation, and every single change in a fast-moving industry is not just difficult. It's almost impossible at scale. And when systems become overwhelmed, they don't stop. They adapt. Sometimes by loosening requirements. Sometimes by shifting responsibility. Sometimes by trusting the very companies they are supposed to regulate. And that's where the balance starts to shift. Because when oversight becomes limited, responsibility moves closer to the companies themselves. And companies, by design, are not neutral entities. They are built to grow, to compete, and to maximize outcomes within the rules they are given. If the rules allow flexibility, that flexibility will be used. Not necessarily with bad intent, but with clear logic. Efficiency over excess. Acceptability over perfection. Now step back for a moment, because this is where the story connects to something much bigger. This isn't just about food, it's a pattern. A pattern you can see across industries. In technology, where speed often outpaces regulation. In media, where engagement sometimes outweighs accuracy. In consumer goods, where convenience gradually replaces durability. Over time, systems evolve not toward perfection, but toward what is sustainable within their own structure. And once that structure stabilizes, it becomes invisible. You don't see it as a system anymore. You see it as reality. Something that has always been there. Something that doesn't need to be questioned. And that's where the real power lies. Not in forcing behavior, but in shaping what feels normal. Because people don't actively choose systems. They operate within them. They adapt to them. They build habits around them. And over time, those habits feel natural. Even when they are the result of decisions made far beyond their awareness. So when people say, "Why is American food banned in Europe?" they are simplifying a much deeper issue. Nothing is randomly banned. Nothing is randomly approved. Every decision is the result of a framework deciding what level of risk is acceptable. And those frameworks are different. Not necessarily better or worse. But different enough to create completely different outcomes. And that leads to one final realization. The most powerful force shaping your choices is not availability. It's normalization. Because once something becomes the default, it stops being questioned. It becomes invisible. And when something becomes invisible, it gains influence without resistance. So the next time you pick up a product, the question isn't just whether it's safe. The question is what system allowed it to exist in that form in the first place. Because behind every ingredient, every label, and every product, there's a chain of decisions that most people never see. And once you start seeing that chain, everything changes. Because this was never just about food. It was about understanding how systems quietly shape reality, one decision at a time. This is the uncovered context, where we break down the hidden logic behind everyday life. If you're new here, subscribe, because once you start noticing these patterns, you'll begin to see them everywhere.